Okay. Okay. All right, what's good, everybody? Y'all know first thing first. Let me know that you can hear me. First of all, I'm glad y'all slapping that like. Yeah, I thought I'd be way up by now. What now? I don't know, man. YouTube is just so funny with getting people notifications out. So I just gotta roll with the punches. But let me know y'all hear me. Let me know y'all hear me. All right. And if you haven't, please slap that like. We're gonna get into this some more. I told y'all, man, y'all gonna listen to me one day. It's always a lot more to the story than what the surface has put out there. Okay. It's always gonna be more to the story. Before we get into it, I had to ask y'all a question real quick. How many of y'all remember this story I did about a young girl by the name of Mari Osby? A lot of y'all might not remember it. Um anyway, to wrap that up real quick, I finally had a chance to talk to her dad. We finally had that interview. It was a phone conversation. I'm trying to figure out how can I load it up on YouTube so y'all can hear it, or I might have to go live about it because the phone call is about almost an hour long. So, but I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can just upload it so y'all can just listen to it, or I may just have to go live for y'all to listen to it. But I finally talked to her dad and we had a conversation about that story. That's if y'all remember her story, but if not, I'll probably have to go live and refresh y'all memory about her. Okay. But other than that though, y'all ready? Let's talk. Let's talk. All right, guys. I want to give there's somebody on YouTube. I want to say her name is Savage Royal or Royal Savage or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the name is. Somebody brought it to my attention. She put up a video where she talked to the mom. Okay, I didn't know the mom was talking. Okay, if I would have known that, I would have reached out to the mom. So now I know that the mom is talking. I'm gonna try to see can I reach the mom and see how much she want to talk. All right, let's see how much she want to talk. But for what little I heard, yeah, her kid got taken away. I think I heard her kids got taken away, but I could be wrong on it. But we know Kei'Mani was taken away. Okay. I don't know about the rest of them. Or I might ask the lady, can I use her content? But I don't really like use other people's content. It's just a lot of stipulations that come with it. So I try to see if I can reach out to the mom herself or try to reach out to her sister and see if the sister want to talk, So, but I'm going to give her a shout out. She was able to talk to the mom. And I guess the mom put out her side of the story about what's going on with all of this, okay? I would love, boy, Lord have mercy. I would love to talk to the mom. I would love to hear what the hell she got to say, okay? All right, guys. So like I said, the saga continues with this. We are learning more information. The police video has came out with the encounter of the dad. Now, at a glance at the video, it looked like he wasn't doing nothing. It looked like they just shot the dude. But however, though, you got to look at it closely. It looked like he did reach for something, and I guess they beat him to the punch. They popped him, I saw some people in the comment section saying he wasn't doing nothing. I saw somebody in the comment section saying that they always trying to kill a black man, and just all kind of shit. You know how social media goes. You got some people. I mean, people just feel the way they feel about it. Okay. Then we find out that it was the girlfriend that tipped them off about him. That's interesting, okay? Then the school has came out and spoke, and we're going to listen to all of this in just a few minutes, okay? But before we get into that, I want y'all to hear something real quick. And they talk a little bit. This is what I'm about to play with you. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm just going to play this real quick. They talk about the dad history, and I want y'all to hear this real quick. Let me know that you can hear it.
Waiting to figure out and find out, which of course we will keep you guys updated as we learn more. Reporting live in East Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
Our team coverage continues.
Hopefully y'all can hear that.
Wanted for Kei'Mani's abduction is her father, Darnell.
Can y'all hear that? Because I don't see my equalizer going up. Y'all let me know y'all can hear that. I don't see my equalizer going up on my thing right here. So did y'all hear that little bit I just played? I just want to make sure. Did y'all hear that little bit I just played? Just making sure that I heard that. Did y'all hear that? Hell, do y'all even still hear me? Oh, okay, cool. She said it's a little low, but I heard. I kind of figured my equalizer one going up. Okay, let me see if I can fix that.
Jones, and according to police records, he was last seen
Okay, how about now?
from her guardian's home without consent, possibly making him the last person to have seen her alive. Michael Sandlin, he's got more on the charges surrounding Jones, his background as well. Michael, how is Kei'Mani's family reacting to the news of Jones's possible involvement?
Whoa, what the hell is that? Oh, I forgot about the damn ads.
Jeff, we caught up with Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, and she says the feeling right now
you say it's
is
better?
betrayal.
Cool.
Now, we did some digging into Jones's past, and he does have quite the record. Now, looking back, we can see that he had previous charges for domestic violence, specifically an endangering children charge back in 2021. However, those...
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. Previous history, endangering children. So now the question is, he has his history. Somebody had to know. Okay. So what happened here? What happened here? Well, let's continue.
Those charges were dismissed. He also had a felonious assault charge from 2017 that resulted in the victim being seriously harmed, and he was indicted on that one. Kei'Mani's grandmother says this feels like a betrayal because despite his record, she truly thought Jones had stepped up to be a father for her, despite not even being her biological dad.
It was told to me that he was her biological father. However, her biological mother has told me on several occasions that he is not. So I don't know what to believe, but I know that he was present. He's been more present than the biological mom. And I feel deceived. Like,
he was not the biological father. Wow.
You played for so long in my face like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
However, it's very important to note that we caught up with Kei'Mani's mother earlier today, and she says that the grandmother is telling a completely different story from the truth. So we're going to continue digging into the details, and we'll bring you the latest as soon as we can. But for now, reporting in downtown Toledo, I'm Michael Sandlin for WTOL 11.
All right, I want y'all to hear that. And of course, you know, one gonna say the other one's tell a different story. One's gonna say the other one is lying. You know, that's just a common status when it comes to stories like this. Okay, now they saying he is the biological father. You know, but regardless if he was the biological father or not, for what this man has done is heinous and it's disgusting and whatever else that you want to call it, okay? But still, with that being said, like I always tell y'all, it's always more to the story. You might not get every single answer to what's going on with this, but believe me, it's always more to the story, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the school came out and spoke, and this is what they had to say about Kei'Mani.
In her short 13 years, Kei'Mani was enrolled in 6 different schools, and tonight we're hearing...
Enrolled in 6 different schools. Who the hell does that? 6 different schools. Again, I got to ask the question, what the hell is going on here, man? What is going on?
From some of the people from those schools who say she came to school with potential signs of abuse.
Michael Sandlin joins us. Michael, what did they have to say to you?
She came to school with potential signs of abuse. Now, remember when they asked her grandmother, you know, a rumor going around saying that you abused her. And remember what she said? What do you call abuse? What do you call abuse? Remember when she said that? What do you call abuse? That shouldn't have been your answer. I thought your answer would have been, you know what I'm saying? I ain't abused that child, but your answer was, what do you call abuse? What do people call abuse? Wow.
Well, Kaylee, Jeff, they say they tried to sound the alarm and it fell on deaf ears. I spoke to a classmate of Kei'Mani's who says she tried to tell a teacher, and I spoke to a teacher who says she tried to tell CSB. In both instances, the person they tried to help is now gone.
She came to school with bruises on her arms.
That's 7th grader Kei'Mani Fisher.
Oh, really? Did y'all hear what she just said? She came to school with bruises on her arm. Remember what I said in my first stream? The school is not going to call protective services for no reason. Unless they're just a low-down ass school. I don't know. But the school is not going to call them folks for no reason, okay? They had to see something to make them call. And they saw something that made them call. Not only did they call once, but the grandma say they called twice on her. So it was 2 incidents where this girl came to school and somebody saw something and looked like one of her classmates saw something and tried to get her help.
A classmate of Kei'Mani's from her most recent school, Spring Elementary. Fisher says she would often see Kei'Mani come into class with visible markings, so she and other students decided to say something to a teacher.
And she said she would deal with it, but I don't think nothing happened.
TPS representatives say they have no records of abuse against Kei'Mani to either CSB or TPD. But it's also not the first time someone has raised concerns about what was going on inside Latigue's home. Kayleen Harabedian was her 6th grade English teacher at Bennett Venture Academy, the last school she attended before spring. Harabedian says she also spotted visible markings and bruises on Kei'Mani.
It's hard because especially in a role like education, your day doesn't end at 3:30. You take these things home with you. They weigh on you. I'm a parent myself, and I tried my best to make sure that she was removed from that environment.
Harabedian claims she put in multiple calls to CSB. Kei'Mani's grandmother and legal guardian Dorothy Latigue says they did come knocking on her door, but she denies there was any abuse in the home.
I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study, and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them, and you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that.
It's important to note Dorothy Latigue is currently not charged with any crime, and Kei'Mani was allowed to continue living with her following the alleged CSB check-in.
It just fell on deaf ears, and I think that had she been investigated more, this was looked more into, she would 100% be alive today.
Wednesday morning, a new piece of graffiti has been sprayed on the burned-out home where Kei'Mani's body was found. CSB, where's your accountability? A question city council members like Susanna McPherson are asking now as well.
I want to hear from CSB. We all do. What happened? What was the missing link? Where was the disconnect?
We reached out to Lucas County Children's Services to see if they had any reports of abuse against Kei'Mani. They tell us that any reports they might have would be protected by Ohio privacy laws and would not be fit for public reporting. However, they tell us they're planning on holding a press conference Friday morning so they can clear the air. Reporting in East Toledo, I'm Michael Sanon for WTOL 11.
Does anybody have this press conference? I would like to hear what they had to say. Does anybody have this press conference? All right. So again, you got a student saying she saw marks. You got a teacher saying she saw something. Says the lady right here says she put in multiple calls about this baby girl. But it appears that all calls went on deaf ears. Okay? Now, out of the multiple calls, the grandmother said they only came out twice. Okay? And both times she claimed that the case got dismissed. All right? So it sounds like to me this is another situation where Child Protective Services just came out there and only did a half-ass job. That's what it sounds like to me, okay? Or how some people may put it, you know what I'm saying? Could be a situation that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody may have got paid on the table to keep hush-hush. You know how crooked some people is. A lot of people's crooked, okay? A lot of people crooked. But you got even a student, which her classmate, saying the same thing. She came in there with markings. But let's go into further than that. They even said other people saw concerns of abuse. But remember, we have to go back to my first stream where when the grandma was asked that, she said, what do you call abuse? Wow. Wow. That was your answer. What do you call abuse? That's your answer. Not that, no, they lying. I don't know where they getting that from. They're just a rumor. Your answer was, what do you call abuse? The answer to me already says you knew what you done, and maybe in your eyes, you didn't know how far you was going. Or maybe you did know how far you was going, and you had hatred towards this child. I was talking to somebody yesterday, how grown-ups, which I don't understand how this happened, that you got a lot of grown-ups. That link to the press conference, but it's said completely loose. I got to find out which link that was. You sent me. Okay, thank you. I keep forgetting about the damn smartwatch. I can see y'all messages when y'all text me shit. I keep forgetting about the damn thing. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, you got a lot of grown-ups who sit up here and compete with these children, which that's something I don't understand either. All right. They jealous of the child, which I don't understand that. It's a damn child. She's a child. Why would you be jealous of a 13-year-old? But sadly to say, this is what happens. Okay? This is what happens. So now, you put all that together. Now one wants to know, or at least me, is that the reason why she put through multiple schools? Because the schools was calling on you? And who made them moves to keep transferring her to different schools? You have to ask that question too. All right, y'all don't hear me, or do you hear me? You have to ask that question now. And this is why y'all were transferring her to school, because you were getting reported on. All right? And y'all know how some people get? Once somebody reports something on you, when you know you in the wrong, you talk like it's their fault. When it's not their fault. They doing what they supposed to do. But you get mad because they doing what they supposed to do, and you want to move them out their school, or you want to move them out their church, or wherever the case may be, when they only doing what they supposed to do. All right? Now, I said in my first stream, maybe this baby did not know how to express what was going on with her. Or maybe she's being threatened. If you say something, this is going to happen. If you say something, that is going to happen. But unfortunately, she's no longer here to tell her side of the story. All right. So I'm one of the ones who are going to do this story and try to piece together her story. May not be accurate on everything, but I'm going to try to put it together, and I'm being her voice. All right. And I'm almost certain I'm right. She may have been threatened. If you go to school and say something, you get home, this and that is going to happen. Okay. But now, let's look on the other side of the coin, and I want y'all to tell me y'all agree with me or you disagree with me. Now, it was told that the grandma used to leave her at home overnight a lot, I guess because she's working or whatnot. Could it be a possibility that one of them times, or a couple of them times, that when the grandma went to work, maybe Kei'Mani accidentally hurt herself on something, probably bumped into something real hard, or probably fell, all right? Could it be a possibility that may have happened? I leave that for y'all to decide if that's a possibility. But what's going to wipe that possibility out is the grandma answer when she was asked about the rumors about her being abused. That's probably pretty much going to wipe that out. Because you pretty much talking out of guilt right there. To me, if you ask me, you talking out of guilt. What do you consider abuse? Okay. Hold on, let me see what's going on with this crazy ass dog. Hold on. Okay, that was going on. He see his buddies next door over there. He see his buddies outside over there. He trying to get to them. Jesus Christ. So yeah. So, you know, on the other side of the coin, I guess you could look at that. Could it be a possibility while the grandma was going to work? Maybe something happened while she was going to work. Okay, so, I mean, that's just something to think about. Probably 9 times 10 it didn't. But it's probably just something to think about. But now, we heard this from the school, okay? And I think this right here from the school is probably going to break this case open a little bit, okay? Because we're going to find out now that they had came and spoke out, what was really going on. What his grandma was telling the truth about, and what she was not telling the truth about. And again, I told you when I listened to the mom's interview to the other podcaster, or, excuse me, well, y'all heard what I played earlier. The mom is claiming the grandma is telling a whole different story. Okay? So the question is, what is the real story? What is the real story? Ladies and gentlemen, like I told y'all earlier, for what they said, the girlfriend tipped the police off about the dad. And here's what they had to say about that.
We also have new details about the investigation into Kei'Mani's murder. Toledo police executed several search warrants, including where he lived on the east side. 13 Action News has learned it was Darnell Jones' girlfriend who helped police with evidence in the case. That woman, who asked us not to identify her, tells us Jones called her Friday and asked her to turn off the cameras at the home. She says she got suspicious and did not turn them off, and she adds she was in the bedroom when a relative saw Jones move some items from his SUV into the house and hide them under the basement stairs. She called police, who got a search warrant and then took the evidence.
What did he hide under your stairs?
It was like a mat for the back of your truck, not a pickup, but SUV. You know, when you lay your seats down and you put that rubber mat in there to protect the back of your seats in case you're hauling something. That's what he rolled up and put in my basement. And his work boots, which were caked with mud, and he hadn't worked in a while.
She says once Jones noticed the items gone, she never saw him again. She also told us Jones called her from Columbus, and she told police where they could find him. As the Toledo community continues to grieve the loss of Kei'Mani Latigue, some are stepping up to help contribute to a funeral service for the young girl. Wheelin' on the Rocks on Lasky will be hosting a benefit and poker run this upcoming Sunday. That's to help raise funds to properly honor Kei'Mani and celebrate her life. They said all of the money raised will go directly to the funeral home. The main event will be at Wheelin' with other businesses participating in the poker run, including Kickstand Saloon just over the border, Daffy's, and Corner Saloon just over the border.
I want something for her. I think the whole town wants something for her to have, you know, an abundance of flowers, a beautiful casket, maybe a park bench or anything to help, you know, with the memorial.
Kickstand is on Alexis in Toledo. Those hosting Sunday's event tell us that a donation to the funeral home is essentially your ticket to take part in the activities. So if you'd like to donate or if you'd like to find out more, you can go to our website, 13abc.com.
Emotions are running high, and people from all over are coming to Toledo to mourn the loss of Kei'Mani and offer support. But how does the community begin to heal from this horrific incident? Social worker Cecil Holston says grief can be there, whether or not you know someone personally affected by a violent crime. He says people may feel a connection to the case because they may have a daughter or son the same age as Kei'Mani. Holston says one way to deal with grief is to stay off social media.
Journal, writing things down. Checking in with your own personal children to make sure that they're okay. Because I think sometimes we miss that. Like, let's go sit in their room and go check and see where they're at. Because that might have been a friend of theirs, or it might have been a friend that they lost a year ago that is triggering them now. Their grief is now triggered.
Leaders with Lucas County Children's Services say they understand the public has many questions about Kei'Mani Latigue, and today the agency's director made his first comments about her case. 13 Action News reporter Lily Lowndes has details. She joins us live in studio to explain what's next. Lily.
Yeah, Tony, it's not only the community that's hoping for answers. This is a story we broke yesterday on 13 Action News at 10 that Lucas County commissioners wanted to work with Children's Services to form an investigative task force. And today, that task force was approved.
Community members are ready to take action after the tragic murder of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue.
Obviously, like everybody else in the community, I heard what had happened to this young girl.
Gordon Berry is a former Lucas County Children's Services board member. When he heard that concerns about Kei'Mani's safety were allegedly reported to the agency, he wanted to make sure that the county would never have a case with an outcome like this again.
It's my intention to contact the commissioners and volunteer my services.
Berry is hoping to join a special agency review task force launched by the Children's Services Board in collaboration with county commissioners.
I think it can only lead to good things, and I'm looking forward to the results.
Children's Services Executive Director Randy Muth said the task force will look at the agency's policies. The details of Kei'Mani's case are a separate matter. Muth says he knows the community has questions, but the prosecutors have asked they hold off on releasing any new information.
Review all those documents and make a determination as to whether the benefit of informing the public outweighs the potential damage that could be done to a future prosecution.
With that in mind, Muth says they're still in talks with prosecutors.
We've sent the information over. We have sent some suggested statements that we might make, for their approval.
Meanwhile, the task force is going full steam ahead. Berry says he hopes that the agency gets the resources they need.
What do I hope will come of this? I hope that we'll never have another case like this.
Muth told me that once the prosecution is over, the task force will help release files and let people judge for themselves how Children's Services responded prior to Kei'Mani's death. Tony.
Lily Lowndes reporting live for us this evening. 13 Action News is committed to bringing you the latest developments on this heart-wrenching story. We will stay on top of any updates to everything from tributes to the young girl to the investigation into her death. You can find it all at 13abc.com.
All right, so we heard that. Not only we heard the girlfriend, but we're hearing from the protective services. I think I heard enough on just that video alone to see. I don't know. It always ends like that, Now that somebody's passed away, now you want to get on the ball and do something about it when the problem is right there when you was called to go and handle the problem, but. Whoever these two individuals that came to the home, apparently didn't see anything that was wrong, so they kept closing the case when it came to this young lady. Now that this young lady gone, now everybody want to get together and talk. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Now you have to ask the question with a lot of child protective services. I mean, what are you here for now? If you're not going to do anything, what are you here for now? Because it seems like a lot of them dying more involving y'all than the story itself. A lot of stories I have done, whenever CPS is involved, for some reason, the child ends up dead. And it be because of the same thing. People calling, asking them to go do a check or welfare check, whatever the hell you want to call it. They go out there, you get the same outcome. Nobody don't see nothing. The case get closed. They get called out there again. Nobody claims to see anything. The case get closed. Then they get their call again. Now the child is dead. Okay? Now, I don't know how the child protective services work. All right? I'm not going to sit up here and say that they don't have a lot on their plate, but I'm not using it as an excuse. Okay? Whoever y'all sending out there needs to be out there doing their job and do thorough looks, okay? Because apparently they're not doing it anymore. Because I had heard somebody will get cool with these folks and go to their house and just chill. And that's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. I don't have any children. But I heard some of these folks do get cool with the people who they going to have a visit with. They just be in there chilling. Ain't doing shit. Which I don't think that's too far-fetched. But that's what I was told. And it could be a possibility. And it could be a possibility. It could be with this situation here. Whoever came out there, knew the grandma, know what I'm saying? They probably just sit back chilling and talking. And they didn't do their thorough investigation of what was going on with this child. All right? But you got the school calling you, telling you what they see. How the schools see it, and you as the Child Protective Services don't see it. What are we missing here? How does the school see the bruises? How do the students see the bruising? But when Child Protective Services come out there, they don't see it. That's something I would never understand. How do everybody else see it except for the people who need to see it? But remember what the grandma said, what do you call abuse? What do you call abuse? Wow. Wow. Grandma said, what do you call abuse? Beats the fuck out of me for an answer like that. Beats the hell out of me. Anyway, guys, moving right along, you know, again, they have put out the video. I don't know if I need to be showing this. I know YouTube being strict about showing stuff. But you know what? I'm going to take one for the team, and I'm going to show it. Because if the news could put it out there, why can't I put it out there, okay? Well, I guess here's where the police talks about the situation we're dealing with today, and here's what happened.
Dude, show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out of your... I swear to God, pull your...
We're tracking new details in the death of Kei'Mani Latigue. The full unedited body cam video as police find and shoot the man they say killed her. What it shows happened just before an officer pulled the trigger. Plus, we get answers from Toledo's top cop.
We were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community.
The investigation into the abduction and murder of the 13-year-old girl continues. The full, uncut interview with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley.
Political officials are going to have to step up. The local organizations, nonprofit and private, the businesses are also going to have to step up, because at this point, we should have been doing this a long, long time ago.
We just can't wait to make this happen and make it better for these kids out here.
The call for answers and justice continues as our community mourns the death of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Her family is remembering her life as she would have celebrated her 14th birthday this week, and her father remains in the hospital, shot by police and charged with killing her. Here's how the story has unfolded. Toledo police posted the alert that Kei'Mani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th. It was just after 4 p.m. She was last reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. She's also Kei'Mani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning, found Kei'Mani was missing. She called her school before making a report to TPD. By Friday, March 21st, family, friends, even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Kei'Mani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Kei'Mani's dad, Darnell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents show he was the last person with her before she went missing. Then on Monday, March 24th, police found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains of those of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Her time of death was 12:19 p.m. Jones would be charged with murder that same day, and Columbus police tracked him to the city on Tuesday, March 25th. It was then that officers ended up shooting him and finding a gun at the scene. In a moment, we'll show you the unedited body cam video of this encounter. We do want to warn you, the video is graphic. There is profanity. You can see Columbus police identify Jones walking in the short north. They approach him. He says he wants to die, ignores police commands, appears to move his hand in his pocket, and then is shot. You're going to see two views, one from the officer who shot Jones, and then it switches to another responding officer whose body-worn camera better shows what happened next. Viewer discretion is advised.
Come here, man.
Don't do it.
What's your name?
Kill me.
Dude, show me your fucking hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your fucking hand out of your...
Myself.
I swear to God, pull your...
Shots fired. Shots fired. Dennis in a second. Get medic, don't fucking move. Don't move. Alright, suspect down. All you guys are okay.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there.
33 in his hands.
No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot, okay? All right? Got it. Yep.
Damn.
That's him. Somebody get out.
Somebody get on the main air. Get us a medic.
I'm working on it.
All right, on your belly. All right. I got cuffs. There you go. Thank you, brother. We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we can't allow that.
I can't.
All right.
I don't want to live.
Get us some cruisers. Secure this scene.
Copy, I'm in radio.
All right, who fired?
Him in the car.
He did too.
I think.
You did?
I did not.
Okay.
He did.
Okay. You good?
All right.
You good? All right.
I know.
All right.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I got to roll you off. I got to get you up on your side, okay? I got to get you up on your side. I got you.
All right. Where do you hit at, bro?
I don't know. All in my leg.
All in your leg.
He's all hit right here.
I know. He's hitting his arm once.
Oh, my God. Need a medic here now. Where's your
I know.
family?
They're coming, okay? We got him. He's hit once in the arm. All right.
He's hitting the side here.
Yep, you're hitting the side.
Okay.
You're gonna be fine.
Hey, look. You know what's good about this?
Sit up, okay?
You're gonna be fine. I can't move my leg. I know.
Okay.
I know.
I think they're broke.
Where do you guys need us? There you go. How's that?
They broke.
Okay. I can't get up. Okay, we're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath. Copy that. Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car. Block that road. You're on shell casing. Get that road blocked.
We can't lay you down. Okay, you've got to stay up. I'll hold you up. All right. You just relax. Lean back into me. There you go.
You're gonna be fine.
Listen. Hey, nothing's ever that bad. All right.
It is.
Okay. Well.
Darnell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns? Yes.
Where's the guns at? Where's the other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey.
Sorry.
Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, he said he had a gun.
I don't. I think he's just fading. I don't know. Nope. Just stay back, okay, please?
Stay back.
Hey. Okay. Okay. We're making good witnesses. You're fine, ma'am. You're fine.
We got to get him searched. The medic's going to take him.
I know. Hey. Hey, you guys somebody just go chill.
Somewhere else.
Hey, have that cruiser start getting scene tape.
Let the medic in. Step back.
They're fine. It's fine. Yeah, we need a cart. We need a cart.
Cart. I know. Stay with me, bro. Keep talking to me, okay?
Dave, 511. If anyone is listening at home, officer support.
Sit here, legs, arms.
Which way do you want his head?
Here.
Right there? Okay.
Up. You need him out of the cuffs?
Yeah, we're gonna need him out.
All right. We're gonna have to. Hey, listen. We're going now. We're gonna roll you over one more time. All right. Gotta get those cuffs off you. So you relax. Clean up. There you go.
He's hitting the arm.
Leg, arm. and I believe left chest.
Okay. I get a good search on him.
I am.
Everything's got to come off.
You taking him all down enough in this?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Pull this off.
All right.
Cut the cuff off.
Just cut your belly.
You guys want to help us lift?
Yep.
Grab the wing, grab the head. Down. We're down.
Hold on. Just there. All right, I'm good. Hey, don't move your arm. I know it hurts. They're going to help you, okay?
I'll kill you, just shoot me in the head.
Well, we're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to kill you.
I took off my arm.
No, we're not going to take it off your arm, okay? They're going to cut it off in just a second.
Jones was due in court on weapons charges in Columbus, but did not appear because he remained in the hospital as of Thursday, March 27th. Now the call for justice continues. Rumors swirl on social media, and there may still be more questions than answers. WTOL 11's Silver Barker took the discussion to our city's top cop. She sat down with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley to separate fact from fiction.
So my first question for you, Chief Trenley, you know, there's been a lot, so let's kind of do like a timeline, and let's start with first question. Let's go back to when Kei'Mani was first reported missing. You know, there was a report sent out, but is there a reason why there wasn't an Amber Alert? That's a lot of people's question.
Yeah, so when she first went missing, our Amber Alert requires specific criteria when and how we do our Amber Alerts. And that's kind of like a national standard. And so it did not meet that criteria because at that point there was not any thought of there was a family kidnapping or family being involved or any foul play at that point. At this point, we had a lot of different stories about a missing 13-year-old that may or may not have ran away for different reasons. So at that time, we'd already interviewed all the family members and we were talking to everybody. So there was nothing that would have qualified for an Amber Alert or that actually an Amber Alert would have done for the investigation.
What is the usual criteria for an Amber Alert, just so people know?
Yeah, so there's different things, but a lot of times, especially when it involves a family member, we need to have that we suspect a family member has kidnapped them and has run off with them, that we have descriptions of cars or locations and stuff like that, something that we can provide. And for this type of case, it just did not meet that criteria.
Now, my second question for you, TPD received a tip, you guys received a tip about the body that was found in that house. That's how you guys first found out about it being there, correct?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, actually. Which tip?
You guys received about the body being found on Miami Street in the house. There was a tip that you guys received, or was it anything in the report? It was mentioning that you guys were notified, and I believe it went to the detectives' work as well. There was communication and messaging through, was there a phone call or anything, or Crime Stoppers? Was there anything sent out? How did you guys find out about the body inside the house?
Through detective work, really. So, so through some interviews and some investigating. At this time, I can't disclose why or how, because it's still very pertinent to the investigation. And at this point, we're not ready to talk about that aspect of it. But yes, it was our detectives doing a great job interviewing and investigating and following up on some leads that got us to that location.
Now, going to the body when it was reported that it was found in the house, when lots of people found out and it spread in the community, people showed up very soon right after that while you guys were there doing your work. There are a lot of people live streaming on their phones, showing it and kind of just talking about it in general. There's a huge presence there. I mean, we saw it. I was there that day. Did that at all impact your guys' work there while you were doing that? Did it affect how you guys were doing? I mean, could you guys have done anything differently there if people weren't there, you know, yelling, shouting, what?
No, obviously, anytime you add a little bit of chaos to a scene, that makes it a little bit harder for us to do our job. But, you know, we're prepared for that. So we have officers that can contain the outer perimeter and make sure that no one gets in. And then our detectives, they're focused on their job. They're going to do their job whether there's people watching or not. So they're still going to be able to do it. It's just the outside officers being involved more and trying to maintain, you know, as you just said, a very highly agitated scene for good reasons, right? But the reality is, it doesn't affect the investigation itself. It just makes it a little bit harder for the officers on the scene to maintain that perimeter.
Do you have any idea how many of your officers were out there that day?
I actually don't know how many we had deployed out there that day. I know we had a lot of detectives, roughly 10 to 12 detectives that were on scene. As far as the outer perimeter for the number of patrol officers on scene, I don't know that number.
Now, moving on to Darnell Jones, he's in the hospital currently, and that's where we're kind of at with that situation. But I know that yesterday you mentioned in an interview that you guys sent detectives down there for questioning. Has he confessed to anything? Has he confessed previously before then? What are you guys getting?
So we did send detectives down and interviewed him in his hospital room. We made progress there. So we have some things that we're going through at this point. Once we get all the information that he provided, that we've gathered, we'll meet with the prosecutors. We'll walk through that timeline with the prosecutors and decide with their guidance on the charges that will be filed. And then at that point, we'll talk about what charges are going to be out there. We'll release that information. But right now, we did talk to him. We are moving forward. I would say we're in a pretty good spot investigatively anyways on moving forward with this case.
Speaking of charges, on Monday, we read in a report that he was charged with third-degree felony of abduction. At this point, what charges are we still looking at? Do you happen to know? Is that charge still there, and is a murder charge as well?
So, as my understanding right now is the murder charge is added and the abduction charge is still there, but that's right now, those are the only charges that are out there. Obviously, as we work through all of the statements and all the leads that we have now, there may be additional charges.
Do you believe that Darnell acted alone, or is at the time right now, are you guys considering other suspects, or is there other people you guys are looking at?
We're always looking at the chance that there might be multiple people involved. I don't necessarily believe that or disbelieve that that's the case right now, but that is something that we will continue to run down through the investigations. There are statements that always conflict each other, and there's always kinds of things that need to be tied up in an investigation, and that's the phase we're in right now. So right now, we only have one person charged.
I know why you guys can't say what he told detectives yet. There was a lot of talk earlier about his statements not matching, which was said in a police report. There were a lot of inconsistent statements and stuff. The statement that he's given now, is it a bit clearer? You don't have to say the details of that. I know you guys are still working, but is it clearer?
I think we have a much better understanding of what happened. By far a lot more understanding after we talked to him. But at that point, that's about as much detail as I can give you on our conversation with him.
Do you think that, hearing from the community, this is a case we've seen the social media very, very present with a lot of comments and sometimes
As a matter of fact, that's a good question. Does anybody else feel the same way too, that there are multiple people involved? Like I told y'all in my first stream, if the grandma do get in trouble, I won't be surprised. I really don't, because her interview to me was speaking out of guilt. It was guilt. All the shit she has done to that girl, now the girl's gone, she's feeling guilty. So I don't think her interview really came out of passion. I don't think it came out of sadness. Probably now it is, because now she's not here anymore. But when she wasn't alive, as for what it sounded like to me, it was a whole total different ball game. That baby was being abused. She wasn't being taken care of like she's supposed to have been, okay? And like somebody just texted me now, and this is not far-fetched. And it said, Kei'Mani was used for a check, and Granny didn't want her. When a friend told news she and Granny were fighting, I knew what time of day it was. She fought that child like a man. Now you had to ask how long was Pops SA'd her. I said that too my first stream. How long he been doing it. And the grandma tried like she didn't know. She talked about he deceived me, because I've been told the whole time he was the biological father, but now she claiming that she didn't know he was not the biological father, okay? So if that is the case, where's the biological father? If it is a biological father, then we have to ask why he didn't have her, okay? Because I thought when it dealing with Child Protective Services, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I thought when dealing with Child Protective Services, they give it to the next of kin or some shit like that. I could be wrong. I don't know, guys. I don't have children. I'm ignorant when it comes to that, so I don't know how it works. But I thought they tried to get them to the next of kin or something like that. You know, y'all tell me if I'm wrong about that or not. But as far as her being used as a check, I don't think that's too far fetched. It probably was. It really probably was. And the grandma, she's taking a hit. You know, in which she probably should take a hit. Okay? She probably should take a hit because she was in your care. All right? Now, when you mix all this up together, I'm sorry, I'm checking messages and stuff because I got messages coming in as I do this or whatnot. Sorry about that. When you put all this together, is it safe to say, just like any other child who I have covered, or anybody else who does this, shout out to the AFC podcast, my boy Just Jay, when you put all this together, is it safe to say she never had a chance? She couldn't be with the mom for some reason. She got taken away. The biological dad didn't have her, since they claiming this guy was the biological dad. This guy right here sound like he only wanted her for a graping purpose. The grandma took over. Don't know how the hell that happened, but the grandma took over. Now the baby appeared to school with bruises. Just listen to all this, what's going on with this baby. Just listen to all this. Remember what the grandma said? Grandma said the mama never really had custody of her. So who did she really had? Seriously, who did she really had? Sounded to me she didn't have nobody. Sounded to me she didn't have nobody. And whoever they did got her, more likely probably was for benefits. Remember, there was an argument between the mom. Remember the sister said, the mom talking about why she want child support from me. Whole lot of fuckery going on, whole lot of foolishness going on, whole lot of it.
Speculation and misinterpretation, misinformation, a lot of that being spread out there in social media, people saying he was found before he was even found, you know. Do you guys wish maybe you would have communicated a little earlier about this case, or do you guys wish you would have had a press conference or something?
So there was nothing that we could have done in a press conference. We did a press release or a news release from the department, and our detective bureau did as well. And then our detective, our lieutenant in charge of the investigations, was on scene that day and actually gave an interview that day. There's nothing else that we could have done in a press conference. We gave out that information. We waited on the press release from the coroner. Those are different things that we do that give out details. A lot of times, and up until, he was arrested, there wasn't a lot of information we could put out. And so at that point, a press conference is not really going to accomplish anything. We were giving out as much information as we could. Social media is going to be social media, and people are always going to speculate and run with their own theories. And unfortunately, we can't control that. But the reality is, most things you read on social media, especially early, probably aren't even true.
Speaking of that and social media, is there any rumors right now regarding this case that you want to dispel right now that you can think of, like, hey, this is the fact?
I can't think of anything out there on social media right now. I try to avoid it as much as I can. So I don't have anything really right now that I would say, hey, stop listening to that because it's not true. And really, it's probably too early for us to even address some of those issues.
There is a lot of things going on in this case and a lot of details and things being looked at. We know that you guys are still investigating, but in terms of how long you think you guys are getting closer to the answer and closer to a conclusion, how long do you think this is going to take or play out?
Unfortunately, that's very hard to speculate. There is a lot involved in this case. Obviously, we're talking about 2 different cities being involved. We're talking about, we have a week of things that happened, right? So We are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively, and I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, the last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges and or premature in saying this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there, so when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Speaking of that, you guys are reactionary, right? I mean, when there's trouble in the city, you guys are the ones called and you guys come in. But looking at this case and just looking in general, is there anything that the community can do with things like this or with situations like this that help prior to you guys having to come out and do something?
Oh, absolutely. So our community knows their neighborhood better than any police officer can possibly know it, right? So no matter how many hours we spend in the neighborhood, there's things that we will never hear or never see that other community members or family members are seeing. So if there's ever any doubt in anybody's minds about any, so let's take this.
Nothing about this is going to change anytime soon, and I'm going to tell you why, because a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of people is stuck on the no snitching rule. That's what it is. Everybody, they stick to that code. It's a code thing. You're not supposed to snitch. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut, And I guess in some ways I understand it, but I don't condone it, especially when it deal with something horrific like this. I don't condone it. But you got a lot of neighborhoods, you got a lot of cities or whatever, they are 10 toes down when it comes to no snitching. That's exactly what they mean. They would not snitch. They would not come out and tell, So he's right. It's stuff that they can do, but here's the thing, though. Are they willing to do it? And you got a lot of people say, hey, we don't need the police. We need to police our own neighborhoods. They sound good, but hell, we can't even get along long enough with each other to police our own hood. We can't get along long enough, It's just not going to happen, okay? Unless, I guess, the street rules change. And I don't see the street rules changing anytime soon, right? It's just what it is. It is what it is.
Case, right? So if you ever have any doubt that some child is being abused or something is just not right, then by all means notifying us and or notifying CSB and getting people, the authorities involved early before it gets to this point, because unfortunately with this case especially, once we were involved it was already way too late for us.
I think my last question for you here is, the officers who responded to the scene and found the body, from what we've learned of the details, it might be a lot. And when we hear of cases like this of children involving children and children on the scene, that can be a lot to take in. Is there anything that you are doing for the officers right now to help them get through that, who were there on that scene?
We are. So over the last several years, we've really developed a wellness program that is kind of top-notch. And we immediately have our peer support officers reaching out to those officers. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we'll do debriefings and bring in professionals to come talk. Our wellness coordinator, Sergeant Welling, is always contacting them and offering up services and to see if there's anything we can do. As an officer, we all deal with trauma in different ways. Some people like to talk, some people don't. But we're always looking out for those warning signs to make sure that we don't need to intervene.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to include at this time that you would like to mention about this case that I did not ask? Now's the time.
So the only thing I would add is, I'm extremely proud of our department. This case moved pretty quickly, and we were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community. There's nothing worse than a missing that's still missing, and there's that hope out there. So I think our officers did an outstanding job. And I'll say it again, I think the Columbus officers, when we contacted them, asked for assistance, they did an outstanding job as well. And, we have two good police departments that are coordinating and communicating and working together to get to a conclusion, at least on this case.
Thanks for joining us for this special presentation here on WTOL 11 Plus. Stay with us here for continuing coverage of the life and death of Kei'Mani Latigue. If you're watching on WTOL.com or YouTube, we're always streaming on WTOL 11 Plus. You can find full interviews with Kei'Mani's grandmother and aunt, along with unedited news conferences.
All right, so this day content, this is not mine. WTOL, this is their content. So giving their credit for doing this or whatnot. So so we heard all this. We heard the questions, and again, one thing, if not nothing else, I agree with him or her or whoever who said it. You're always gonna have more questions than answers as to what, when, how, where, and why. There's gonna always be the $1 million question when it comes to these stories, because you just don't know. Hell, he probably didn't even know why he did it. You know, cut her hands off for what? Why did you cut her hands off? Like somebody said, you know, is it possible you try to keep her from being identified? I mean, you cut her hands off, all right. And again, the girlfriend thought fast of her foot. He was acting strange. He asked her to do something, I guess, out the norm he wasn't asked to do. So she called them folks on him. So I guess you can give her kudos for that. But the main focus in this story, to me, is the grandma and the mom. I think those two the main focus in this story. 'Cause it's something in that gray area with them. Something sounds kind of fishy. I don't know what it is, but it's just something that stinks in that gray area. You know, we already know this damn fool, you know, they already got him. But it's something in that gray area with the grandma and the mom and the other person who had her, you know, in that inner circle right there. It's some foul shit that's going on. Or that did go on. What did? Who knows? I guess we just have to wait till more information come out to find out what's really going on. And last but not least, the question was, is anybody else going to get charges? He's saying as of now, he don't know. Could be possibly. And if it is, who's going to get the charge? I think I know who. But hey, they're just something that just remain to be seen, okay? I think today is her birthday. So, hey, Kei'Mani, happy birthday to you. I'm sorry you ain't here to see another one, baby. So you ain't here to see another one, all right? But anyway, guys, that's my take on everything. Hey, what is yours? All right? I'm your man, Chris Thorns. Hey, I'll just catch y'all next time. Appreciate y'all joining. All right?